You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Right now, pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Hello, Knick family. Are the 76ers contenders or pretenders? Are they a threat to the New York Knicks repeating as NBA champions? My name is Stephanie. I'm your host, aka Queen. Welcome to the Just Knickin It weekly show. I'm joined by Geoff Klafter from the Happily Ever Klafter Daily Sports blog. In 5. You've seen him. Vaughn, still Knick fans. What's the Vaughn story? Knicks Real Talk. He's here with us every Thursday night, part of the family, elevating the show, along with Jeff, Jerrell, AJ, and our guest. So let's just get right into it. What is your initial reaction to LeBron James joining the 76ers? And did that change your opinion of them and their chances in the Eastern Conference? Jeff?
Well, I'm a little bit curious because I kind of think that Minnesota was probably a better basketball fit with what they have, and losing Julius Randle, I think he would have kind of, filled into that role and with the Timberwolves a little bit better. And I think so. I think from that standpoint, I'm not sure he made the best roster choice. Maybe he did. I think I'm always the person who overestimates our opponents, right? I always want to give respect to whomever we're playing. And I think that this Sixers team is extremely dangerous. LeBron James is 42, but he's still 27-7. He's a terrific playmaker. He takes a lot of the pressure off of some of those other guys. Jalen Brown is still a fantastic player. N5 will make the case that he's top 5-10 player in the league, and I don't think that he's wrong. We've had some interesting debates on that in the past. And then you're adding that to some guards who can really play also. So are they a threat? Absolutely. Are they a perfect team? No, but no, there's no such thing as that. So, we'll go into more specifics later, but I think that they're definitely a threat.
Yeah. And 5, your initial reaction to the LeBron signing, and did your opinion of the 76ers change with it?
Yeah, my initial is was here he goes again. Mr. Let's stack it up. I need a stacked team to win. That was my initial thoughts. As usual for certain things, I thought it was a little bit of a weak move, but it's LeBron. This is nothing new. So, that's initially what I thought of it. As far as the team, them together and the fit, I don't see it as outrageous at all, because it's a fit. It's a fit for them in that sense of what the two younger players can learn from him. You know what I mean? There's no doubt that LeBron has a point of an IQ point for the game. You know what I mean? He initially came in with that. People compare him, like they say, to a lot of things because it's the GOAT thing, the Jordan thing. But initially when he came in, and even when he was young, he really referred to Magic Johnson a lot more than anybody else. He usually at this young point, he discussed him a lot and stuff like that. So as we know, Magic definitely was one of the greater overall talents of how he could see the game. So you can't take that point. I don't take LeBron's point of of what he has done in the game, for the game, things like that. It's just always will be that point, with the GOAT argument thing, but not gonna go into as far as that. But as far as the team is consistent, yeah, they have a really good makeup. They may not have the greatest defensive, juggernaut of a team, because of, LeBron's much older. Embiid is his points are blimping. But the other three guys, for the most part, and the guys that they have somewhat around him, they have, you know what I mean? They have some quite capable defenders. And like sort of like Geoff said, we were not known as the most athletic team ourselves at that point. So sometimes things what really converted for us was finding a point of a defensive scheme. They're going to have to find that. They're going to have to search for things just like we had to search for things. They're going to have to find a balance point of an offense that when the crunch point goes, who is that person? Who is that point person? What is their point of their mindset? Is it still to tighten up? Is it still to keep that ball moving fluidly no matter what? That guy who may have missed 7 times in a row, are you still giving it to him? Those are balance points that teams, frequently find, tough to find, especially at these different points in their careers. So that balance we'll have to see. And plus the balance of, is everybody going to be there in the end? As we've known, Embiid has had to fluffer his way through quite a bit, for what they'll do for that. Will he be there at the end? Can he really withstand let's say if it's a 7-game series, can he really withstand the weight of maybe a few people going at him and eliminating him from a source? Can they overcome that? If that is the case too, you know what I mean? It's a lot that involves in it.
Yeah. And we're gonna
that's my first initial thought.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of it, as well. I think my initial thought was, God dang, listen, repeating is not easy, even if the landscape of the Eastern Conference stayed exactly the same, right? There's no guarantees that the Knicks would repeat. And the landscape has changed a lot, in my opinion. And I think the teams that will go up against, or the Knicks will go up against, will be better than last year. I think they put together a formidable team, and we'll get into, they're not a perfect team, and we'll get into some of the challenges we think they'll have. But I was like, wow, this is a strong team. This LeBron. I was like, when they got Jalen Brown, I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be a strong team. Then they got LeBron. I was, goodness, but I still think we're in good shape. But I know we were going back and forth in our chat. Some of us thinking that, they'll be a threat. Not that the Knicks can't beat them, but they'll be a challenging team to face. And some in the chat was like, what are you talking about? They're old, they're this, they're that. Relax. The Knicks are fine. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's argue both sides. If you're a Philadelphia fan, what about this offseason makes you think that you can come out of the East? And obviously we're going to argue the other side as well. But yeah, we're like, what are Philadelphia 76ers fans happy about it and hanging their hat on right now in 5?
Well, right now they look and say, well, they got the overall talent. It's not about the point of now of not having the talent, not having the ability to get there. Right now, if I'm a Philly fan, I know that I have the talent to get there. Do I have the mentality to get there? That's another that's another question point or difference in it. Do we have, like, will you say what it takes at the end? We're still always going to question that. But as a Philly fan, you're excited. This is a different look. This is a different. This is Philly putting all the, pushing all their chips in. This is it. This is now or never. If they don't, succumb in this 2 years here, Will it be a devastating blow to them in a sense? Somewhat, because of where the Brown contract is and what would be the next elevation for him. So, this is a 2-year window for them. Without that point of that 2 years, we'll see. But right now, you have every right to be excited. This is a formidable team. Will they, the only thing is chemistry, balance, and everything else. Will they get there? But if I'm a Philly fan, yeah, I'm excited. At least we don't have some of the, I don't think they'll experience the point of where they just have such bad decision making. They've had such bad decision making down, in the third, fourth quarter of games. Philly's a team that has had, sometimes great leads and just fallen apart. Mentally, they've just, sometimes scattered. So, well, this is a much more formidable team in that sense, because you're putting 2 all-stars on your team. You know what I mean? Like, how many times does that happen?
Yeah.
Right? It would arguably be when the point of the decision came, right? I don't remember like of this degree. You can argue about Kyrie and what's name, but I guess them too as well. But I don't know. This to me is a little bit more of a magnitude. Even that's a lot of firepower in the sense to gather, like as you said, one right behind the other.
Geoff, you're a Philly fan. What are you hanging your hat on? What are you excited about? What makes you think you could get past the Knicks?
Well, first of all, you made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals with a terrific rally against the Celtics, right? You were down 3-1. You won 3 straight games. The second round didn't go your way, but then you upgrade from Paul George to Jalen Brown, and I don't think anybody in the world doesn't consider that an upgrade, like especially with PG's age and everything. Brown is younger, he's better, he does, he's just better. I mean, and he's an elite player in and of his own right and of himself, and he in a lot of ways carried the Celtics to 60 wins last year. I mean, I think he had a decent roster around him, and they had a good system in place, which I don't know if he's going to have the same system in place in Philadelphia, but he's got much better players around him. And then you add LeBron James, and, James is not the player that he was, but still 27-7, still positionally versatile. He can play the 1 for you. If Maxey's in foul trouble, he can play 2 through. He can even play the 5 in certain situations in Philadelphia if Embiid is hurt or in foul trouble. So he gives you a lot of that positional flexibility, and as N5 was saying, that basketball IQ is off the charts. I mean, he has an eidetic memory for every play that he's ever witnessed, and that those kinds of things can come in handy, especially come the postseason. So from that standpoint, and then I think that you added some nice pieces in Anthony Simons and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope off the bench. So you added to your depth there, and who doesn't love an Ariel Huck-Porty, right? So as far as it goes, that's a good off season, winning the back pages isn't the same as winning the championship either, though. So
yeah. Those are actually some great points. But let's flip the script, and I know it won't be hard for us, as Knick fans. What's the biggest reason you think that in a 7-game series in the playoffs, the Knicks are still the favorite and could still beat this team in 5?
Another year.
One second. Shout out to the chat, by the way. Double D, East Blue Drew, Greg, appreciate you. Wolverine in the building, and of course Keith Turner in early. Wilson Dane, also Double D was in early as well. Appreciate all of you. We got a late start, but hopefully it's a really good conversation, and I'm interested in what you all have to say as well. You know, do you think Philadelphia is a threat to the Knicks repeating? Do you think this is a Eastern Conference finals matchup? Or do you feel like people are just overreacting to the LeBron signing and it's not going to move the needle when it really counts? N5?
Yes, I agree. Yes, chat. Yeah, weigh in. We'd love to hear it. For me, well, the Knicks, another year of them learning more about this system, another year of where another weapon I think that has increased immensely by opening that door of processing of some of the offense through Karl Anthony Towns. I think we only touched the surface of where those facets can go. I think that, them understanding the degree of the sacrifice, what it takes, that point of actually just not even accomplishing your role, what else that they can enhance to it. I think a lot of them will see that. I think a lot of them will also the ball will begin to move more like a hot potato, I believe. I believe that the cuts will be better, them understanding who they need to pin down. I think a lot of that process will enhance for them. I think that experience and having a true belief in the system that they've actually won a championship with, that their belief in that system, and, it's no longer blind. It's for real. We won a championship using this system. So that degree late in games and the ability to turn it up or change things up, or mask things where it's coming from you from a different angle. I think that alone, that percentage alone just makes us better, period, across the board. I think we'll have to find another way as far as in the second unit, as far as the defensive point goes. We will have to, because it's a long season. So, Mitch is gone. We wish him well. Now it's about what we have to do to secure ourselves. So, to a degree of a loss like that, numbers don't really mean everything when you've sat there and you've watched those games, because it doesn't sometimes measure the point of tempo and the movement points of the game in that sense. But we will find a way, because I believe in this coaching staff. I believe that the data that they've collected, I think that these guys will, learn and enhance ways. I think these coaches will come in their first time really familiar together in 1 year in a system like that. Then, that next year, how things, begin to become like points in the back of your hand, where where certain things to do, where it's just automatic. I think that point of the game enhances us and makes us even better. I only have, the one real true fear is because most champions go such deep into the year, and then their schedules are so enhanced. Schedule becomes off, things like that. I only worry about injuries, but hey, we hired a great medical staff, you know, hopefully they can get us through it and get us, if I believe, hey, if we can go back and get into the playoffs again, regardless of how we might be playing at one point, if we can get in there healthy again, like we were, I think we could beat anybody.
Okay. All right. So for you, the biggest reason why we have the edge is just chemistry and having been there before and haven't really taken, there's more meat on the bone, so to speak.
Yes, and the offense enhancing itself. Yep.
Yeah. Geoff, same question, but also is there anything about the 76ers themselves as a team that makes you feel comfortable that the Knicks would probably be the favorites and would beat them in a 7-game series?
Well, I kind of think that the 76ers in some ways are built like a fantasy basketball team. You know what I mean? You're just stacking stats upon stats upon stats upon stats, and that's not necessarily how the game works. I mean, there's still only one ball, and you've got a lot of ball dominant players that you have to deal with. You know, now LeBron is a great passer and he's a facilitator, and so maybe he's the solution for a lot of those things. But Tyrese Maxey is most effective when he has the ball in his hands. Jalen Brown is most effective when he has the ball in his hands. You know, and how many shots does VJ Edgecombe get? And then there comes the point of also, I'm not sure about their outside perimeter shooting. Right? If in the playoffs, when things break down and you stack the paint more, do they have guys who can catch and shoot and make it at a percentage that makes the defense pay for that consistently? And I haven't seen that. Now they may get better looks and that might improve their percentages. I don't know. Like Maxey is not going to be he probably is still going to be one of the primary, you know, guys, but I think Brown is probably going to get the most attention because he's the best player, in my opinion, you know, right now. So, maybe Maxey gets a lot easier looks and that helps him improve his percentage. Same for those other guys. That's possible, but just based upon their volume of work, I haven't really seen that this team can shoot the ball supremely well. And nowadays in modern NBA, you really need to be able to knock down perimeter shots. I feel like that's kind of something that we've learned. That's one thing the Knicks do extremely well is we shoot the three ball well, in addition to the fact that we're able to hit difficult end of shot clock scenario shots as well. And so those are two things that are critical to advancing in the playoffs. I think they have one. I think Brown and LeBron certainly and Maxey can all hit difficult shots when the shot clock is winding down, but can they just if they share the ball and if people aren't really worried about them scoring from three, that you can pass the ball around the perimeter into a shot clock violation pretty quickly, you know, and so where does the outside scoring come from? And if your answer is Pope and Simons, whose minutes are they taking, right? Because they're not really starters, you know, on a championship team, in my opinion. So not that they're bad players, but Boston was pretty happy to get rid of Simons for a center who plays zero defense at the trade deadline. So, I don't mean to disrespect him too much, but I think that's a legitimate issue. I think they have to figure out what their team defensive scheme is going to be because they don't have a lot of elite perimeter defense, and you've got to figure out a way to guard Jalen Brunson. You've got to figure out a way to guard Mikal Bridges. You've got to figure out a way to guard OG Anunoby. And then if you're in drop coverage with Joel Embiid, I mean, you just given Cat a silver spoon. We saw he just dominated that, because he can flare out and hit the three. He can beat him off the dribble, and he can pass the ball, and so that creates all kinds of nightmares defensively. I don't think James is the defensive juggernaut that he was in his prime. I don't know if he's still. I don't know that he's a traffic cone. That's not what I'm saying. But he's not. I don't think he's an elite defender anymore. I'm not sure if Jalen Brown is an elite defender. I think he's good. I don't know if he's. I mean, he was surrounded by a lot of good defenders in Boston too. He certainly has length. He's not terrible either, but Maxey's not a great defender. And I don't really think that Edgecombe, he's a second-year player. I don't think he's really terrific defensively either. And we saw in the Cavs series and the Knicks and the Sixers series, that was killer death for those teams. They had nobody who could guard the Knicks on the perimeter, and we were able to crush them as a result of it. And so have those issues gone away? No. Do they have more talent than they did last year? Yes, absolutely so. But again, it's not fantasy basketball. It's how do those five players mesh into one unit? Can they figure it out and be the best team in the league? I absolutely think they can. Is that a guarantee? Absolutely not. I mean, I think that we've seen this before. We've seen it it reminds me of, I wrote an article about it earlier in the week. I think it reminds me of the Lakers when they had Shaq and Kobe and they brought in Gary Payton and they brought in Karl Malone. And they had that they won a ton of regular season games that waltzed to the finals, and then Detroit blew game one against them and then beat them 4 straight. because the Pistons didn't have the. Maybe if you looked at on paper talent for talent, you'd say, well, the Lakers are maybe better at 4 out of 5 positions, right? But that's not how the game is played. The Pistons were a complete team, and they were able to basically run the Lakers out of the gym. Should have swept them. And that's just one example. More recent example, I think that N5 touched on it with the KD and Kyrie Irving Nets. Like, there's a team that on paper was very stacked, had a lot of talent on it, never really could get beyond the second round of the playoffs. So it's not always about how many chips you can stack, but how you're able to use those chips and maximize what you have.
Right. Yeah. Great. Both of you guys, great points. Great points in terms of, why the Knicks are still favorites. We might be homers, but why the Knicks are still favorites. Favorites is in terms of internal development. And then, to your point, Geoff, this is a stacked team, talent-wise, but it's not about talent. It's about how those pieces come together. Health issues, age issues, chemistry issues. Are there enough balls to go around? Not taking anything from them, because if they are able to figure all of that out, and defensively able to figure some things out, maybe as a team, think about us with the Knicks, right? In the beginning of the season, we were ranked. I don't know where we were ranked. I don't even know if they had a rank for the Knicks. And we were able to finish out the season as one of the best defensive teams in the league, and we carried that through in the playoffs. And if you asked me before the season started, and we did talk about this, I didn't think that was possible. I was like, if the Knicks could be 12 and have a stacked offense that's running the way it's supposed to run, and a 12th ranked offense, I'll take it. And lo and behold, we were able to transform again to one of the best teams in the league. So if they're able to figure that out through schematics, and lineups, and chemistry wise come together, I think they'll be a formidable team to me. But I do think that they have a lot of work ahead of them. And as someone said in the chat, Greg, shout out to Greg, always rocking with us, they don't have chemistry. There are too many alphas on the team that are headstrong. 2 of their main pieces are injury prone and up in age. They're going to be fighting for the ball. I will say this, though. Whether or not there's enough balls to go around, and by that I mean many of them are at their best with the ball in their hand, right? And so if the ball is not in their hand, can they be just as effective off the ball? I think that is a legitimate question. I don't know if ego is going to be an issue. Like, this is LeBron's 678th season. Like, and you have to have some ego to play this game, as long as he's played, and to continue to play it and continue to want to win a championship. So I'm not saying he's egoless, but it's hard for me to think that they're each going to go in there thinking I'm the man and not understand that there's sacrifices that need to be made if you're going to win a championship. James knows that because he's won it. Brown knows that because he's won it, and let's see about Maxey and Edgecombe. Let's see how it goes. I'm not concerned about anything when it comes to it, but I don't think that would be more an issue. What do you guys think? Do you think there'll be some ego clashing in terms of who's the alpha on the team?
I don't think that there's.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just was going to say that I'm not sure if it's sometime a matter of ego, sometime it's a matter of just trying to figure it out. Some trying to, does LeBron and Brown, do they come in? What's their coach name? Nick? Is it Nick? Was it Nick Nurse?
Nick Nurse.
Right? Do they come in immediately and say, hey, I like the way that Nick Nurse runs this? Or do they, do they struggle to find their way within how he, maneuvers and run things? or do we
Great
sit
point.
back and let, the flow point of letting LeBron then play GM as well or coach as well? These are all fall traps. Does Brown come in and, become a little bit too ball dominant? Does Embiid now become the fourth option on the team? Is Maxey now, comfortable being the third option? Is LeBron comfortable being the fourth? Is VJ Edgecombe, who, he's a young 6'5" player, does he now say to himself, hey, I truly need to learn how to just come off the curl, catch and shoot. I need to just learn how to just what's name right here in the corner. Because when I begin to dribble, in a sense, I'm slowing the clock. I'm crunching, the spacing. Does he understand things like that? Is he willing to make those kind of sacrifices? There's a lot that goes into it. And can they all really commit, to having it done? And then if it doesn't work in the first season, do they panic? Does that point come in? Does Embiid suffer, a max point of an injury, or if LeBron is out any real significant time? What does that do for the chemistry in a full year of trying to balance and understand and learning? Because the only way to truly learn these things is minutes, repetition, minutes, repetition, minutes, repetition. Seeing defense, different defensive styles. What that does to us in that point. Is this significant player, can he handle that point of a pressure at that last point in second? There's a lot that goes into it. So
Yeah. Boogie, are you ready? We can't hardly see you, so it's hard to see if you're ready. Yeah, you are? Okay.
Hey,
Boogie.
show just got better, y'all.
Nah, the show was already marvelous, man. Hey, shout out to my championship family, man. How everybody doing
Appreciate you.
in their championship on season? Because it's really on this on season.
Right.
I'm right.
I just came outside, man. I was like, you know what? I ain't been on the Queen. I ain't rocked with her since, you know what I'm saying? She got her, her title and everything, man. So
That's
blessings to
true.
y'all, man. Shout out to the chat and everybody, man. How's everybody doing, man?
We good, bro. Good to see you, bro.
We good.
Never
That's
been
the
better.
great part.
Quiet now. Every time there's a move in the Eastern Conference, it just knocks a little bit off the edge. But for the most part, I'm still riding high.
Well, you got to look at those as those are extra trophies to put up on the shelf because I think this on season, because I'm gonna continue on calling it the on season, has been the most movement for a championship team that I've seen probably in my decades of life of watching basketball. We've seen a lot of major guys move into other places and other directions because of the fear of this New York Knicks team that we had. Everybody is aiming for us right here, right now, and it's just so beautiful as a fan. You know what I'm saying, to be in that position, to know that we are the hunted. And the bad thing about it, they don't flip it around, and we're not the hunted no more. And that's more better for the league. Now Philly is the hunted. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just happy right now. It's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Philly for, doing what they doing over there. But Boogie don't fear none of this that's going on. This only going to make me more hungrier, more happier. And these guys see what's happening. And the thing about it, that championship was for us, the fans, the organization, the New York Knicks organization, the office. That was for everybody but them. This year, them guys just get ready to go play for themselves. And that's what a lot of people don't know and understand. They see that all the movement and all this is for us. Okay, y'all want to get at us like this? We're gonna turn up even extra this season. And I can't wait for the season to start. I really can't wait. All this movement. You got Giannis over there in Miami. I want to be Nick. You got Bron over there in Philly. I wanted to be a Nick. You know what I'm saying? Everything, all these guys that went somewhere else is because we didn't bring them over here. And it's not many years that we have had in our past to say that
We're not going to get somebody. We didn't go get Giannis last year. You know, LeBron faking, talking about, oh, if the Knicks wouldn't have won this year, I would have, stop faking, dude. Stop that. If you wanted to be here, you would have been here. You know what I'm saying? You didn't want to come here. You're using that for excuse because we won, and we did it our way with our guys. I don't have to be like Maxey and them. Now another guy coming in taking over my team. No, we did it with our guys, our chemistry, our organization, our fan base. You know what I'm saying? We did it our way, nobody else's way, and it paid off for us, man. So Jay Boogie is happy, but I will say this right here. I don't care what Philly got going on over there, but I do feel in my heart that LeBron and Rich sat down probably about 2 months ago and figured out a scheme and a way to manipulate the league. I do feel like that. Reason why I say that, because LeBron knew the Lakers had no money for no other players to come over there and to build a chemistry around him and Luka, you know what I'm saying, to go for a championship. He knew that. So what else is more better than for me, a person that's rich, got all this money, go somewhere and play somebody else, play for another team for $4 million. $4 million, a $4 million man, well, I say probably anywhere from 30 to 44% of the world feel like he's the greatest basketball player ever. You came and played for $4 million. That's it. That's it. If David Stearns would have been here today, he would have vetoed that. I know that for a fact. He wouldn't have allowed that to happen because the contracts you've been up under all these years doesn't realize because you a vet for you to play for $4 million, well, you're the number one brand in the league. You're the number one brand in the league. I'm not going to allow you to go somewhere and play for $4 million. I'm not going to do that. And I got a brand new collective bargaining. And I got a what is the super whatever it is, what is the top of the new collective bargaining they calling it?
Supermax?
No,
Supermax.
not the Supermax, the second
apron?
the second apron. You cannot go over this. So when James is saying we're not going over the second apron and all this and that, these guys manipulated the league and beat the commissioner at his own game and came over here and went under that daggone separate apron with $4 million with a man is known as probably the best player to ever play this game. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I don't understand that. You know, everybody breaking their neck. OKC moving players out of here, all these guys, and these dudes sat right there, Nick, probably in LeBron's backyard, and say, yo, we don't need no money. What if we just go after another ring and just go somewhere else and play up under $4 million? And the commissioner allowed that to happen.
Well, Jay Boog, I hate to tell you this, $4 million is the most he was going to get.
No, but
nearly every other team, all they had to offer him was the veterans minimum. He actually, there's other than maybe the Warriors, nobody had the money to pay him.
He's been doing this ever since he joined Miami. Ever since he joined Miami, this is what LeBron has done. So this is not new in that sense. This is what he's been doing. Him and Rich Paul.
I know that. They've been doing it.
Yeah.
I just feel
but there's a difference though. That was his right and this is his right too, as a free agent to go wherever he wanted to go. He never pushed himself out of a team, demanded to be traded. He was a free agent. He went to a team and he got paid market value. Like this is the first time where he's not being paid market value. And you can argue that he earned that. You can argue that after 20 some odd years in the league that he earned the right to go to a team and not have to worry about money because money isn't an issue for him, given how much he's earned in his 20-year NBA career and how much he's earned off the basketball.
Well, when did it go out? When did it go out? Whereas when the sign and trade was over and done with for him in the Lakers.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
I'm saying
last summer. Last summer
he couldn't sign and trade at the end of this contract.
He had the point to write for the point for his extension, and then he chose not to. He had a player, I believe he had a player option extension or something like that, and he chose not to. And then that was that. And they didn't negotiate with him after that. And that's when the transformation between the new owners came in as well. And then it just kind of went boop from there.
Well, God bless you, LeBron. God bless you for doing what you do and doing what you want to do when you want to do it. God bless you. I'm gonna say this good thing. Thank you for not being in the way of other people's accomplishment. Thank you for not being in the way of ESPYs and all them great stories from Abbott to what Steph Curry did, to what the Tillman story, not being in the way on the days when those events was going on in the ESPYs. Thank you for not being in the way of the soccer, because I think this soccer that was going on really united more people together. You know what I'm saying? That especially people that really wasn't into that soccer like that, but a lot more people became more involved with the soccer. So thank you for now announcing what you got going on while the soccer was going on. Thank you for not announcing where you're going while we was in celebration with the Knicks and everything. I can say that. I shout you out for that because I know you and how you maneuver and stuff. You love attention, and you could have easily just said, "Yo, I'm signing on any of them days where all them 3 events was going on," and kind of like shut down some of the planning. You got out the way the NFL though. You got out the way. You needed it because you know what's coming to the NFL. Another week, 2 weeks, you know they wouldn't have cared. You know they wouldn't have cared nothing about you because the NFL was here. Everybody loves NFL, but I will give them that. But I don't care nothing about nobody else. Just waiting to see what Towns do, and let's rock out. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see Game 1 opening night, the Knicks and Philly, because I know that's what they're going to bring. I guarantee you it's going to be Knicks and Philly opening night, or it's going to be Knicks and Philly Christmas Day in the Garden. When it shouldn't be the Knicks and Philly, it should be Philly in Boston on Christmas Day. One of those 2 events, I'm more or less thinking.
Maybe both, Boog.
Huh?
Yeah, they may throw Miami in there. Somebody too. Something.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah. The schedule will drop in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think Miami and Detroit, they probably go ahead and duke it out box or whatever, something like that. But somehow, some way, it's going to be. It should be still Cleveland and New York Christmas Day, and Boston and Philly.
Over New York and Philly, you would prefer to see New York and Cleveland?
Yeah, because I mean, you're going to be the matinee anyway at 12 o'clock. The whole world going to stop and watch anyway. Nobody else is playing. They're going to get their views and everything, but you got to think about the rest of the day. So I think what would be more better than for Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum to get it on Christmas Day at you know what I'm saying, 5 o'clock, something like that. That's what I think. You know.
Gotcha. Shout out to Trey. Friend of the family, friend of the show. Knicks versus Sixers on opening night. Book it.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, I think it's happening, Boog. I hear what you're saying. I do think the Philly-Boston would be a really good matchup as well. Tatum against Brown on his new team. Knicks Sixers, though. This is what teams, most people are thinking this is the Eastern Conference Finals right here, at least on paper, to start the season.
It's a possibility.
We'll see.
It's a lot of other teams going to have something to say. I know the pressure's not on us. The pressure's on Philly. It's on you guys. The pressure was on us last year because, before the season started, what we were saying, oh, man, there's so many injuries going on. We got to get it done. Tatum ain't playing. Indiana ain't playing. All these injuries, and we got to get done. We don't get it done. We got it done. So the pressure is not on us no more. pressure's over there, in Philly. The pressure's over there. Because if you don't come up, y'all don't win nothing over there, you're gonna hear it.
Is the expectation though that they'll win in their first year? I mean, given how many teams come together and win in the very first year? I mean, there's got to be chemistry issues. Like a lot would have to go right for them to win in the very first year. Do you think that's the expectation? Now,
Oh yeah.
LeBron signed a 2-year contract with a player option, so he can opt out after this year. And he might, if this
He
blows
will.
up.
He
Right.
will. He may stay in Philly, but he will opt out just so he can
Okay.
do all this again next year. Like that.
Right.
There's no
Right.
way that second year he's going to opt out. And he's going to put pressure on Philadelphia, probably win or lose. Like even if they do win the championship, I expect that he'll opt out. But you know, look, the windows are short, right? I don't think Philly made all these moves to wait around on it. You know, I'm not sure Joel Embiid is that much longer for Philadelphia. I kind of think that they're going to see if they can swing a trade with Washington for Anthony Davis, who's a more defensive-minded player and kind of is a better fit, is equally injury-prone, but just in terms of his skill set, I think he fits better with what they were. I think he balances out their roster better than Joel does at this
Free
point.
clothes for sweatsuit. I mean, it's about the same.
Yes, Pat.
Theoretically, I'm talking about on court. I think that he's a
Yeah.
better fit than Joel if
Yeah.
they're both healthy.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll
Nah,
see.
this
I
year,
mean,
this year though, Steph, that pressure's on them. You have two two former league MVPs. You have two MVPs of championship teams. No, that expectation is on and now.
I think the expectation
100%.
is there too. I just don't think it's fit out. Like if you throw a team together in an off season, talented on paper, and expect them to win a championship in 1 year, we'll see. And people will say, well, the Knicks did it, but this Knicks team's core, was together for a little bit. New coach now, but that core had went through some things and was able to build off of that this year, even though they had a new coach. I don't think that's the same with the
These
Knicks.
LeBron
We shall see.
worshipers, these LeBron
Yeah, no,
worshipers,
I'm with
they
you.
could be
I hear
30
you.
and 30. They just say, if we just get there, if we just somehow cross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
These are a lot of Stepford
Well,
wise.
actually, and 530 and 30 is the number of free throws that James and Embiid are going to shoot per game.
I can agree. The league will.
They
the
will
league will
definitely
put him there.
lead the league in free throw attempts.
Yeah, the league will put him there.
Yeah.
Two
right.
guys that lay on the ground and cry. Both of them lay on the ground literally and cry.
Yeah, it's got to be this year. It's championship or bust for them because Brown is up for that money too. So they better get everything what they need to have done right now because if Brown's coming up for that money, and then he's gonna opt out. I don't know what Maxey's contract it is or whatever. And Embiid
I
is
think
already
he just
dead.
signed the max, didn't he?
Okay, but Embiid got a deal that nobody don't want that Embiid contract. So he ain't even going nowhere. You got to give up a mountain to get it for somebody to take Embiid, like 3 first-round draft picks to go along with him. But yeah, it's championship a bust for them jokers.
We'll see. So I want to do. Are you staying with us for the next segment, Bo?
Go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
just out here. I just took my
Okay.
midnight. I just took my Thursday midnight ride, so that's why I'm in the dark right now.
Okay. No problem. I got a Leon Rose question, but before I get to Leon Rose, I just want to do quick fire. So I'm going to say something really quick, and Knicks or Sixers? Better starting 5, Knicks or Sixers?
Knicks.
Which one of them? Knicks.
New York.
Better bench?
Knicks.
Knicks.
New York.
Now they got Simons. They got who was the other?
KCP.
Caldwell Pope.
KCP, Porty. We lost Mitchell Robinson. Still got the better bench. Okay. All
Yep.
right. Better coach.
It's not even a question.
Yeah, I gotta go with Brown.
And he's on that hot seat. That thing's sizzling over there for Nurse. You can believe that.
I think Nurse is a really good coach. I'm gonna say
I think Nurse is a really good coach too. A lot of times with coaching, so many things have to come together for for it to work out for you.
It's tough because we swept him, so he's there.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, look at. Yeah. I would say I'm gonna say even. I'm gonna say even. Better defense, Knicks.
Yeah, I'll say right now the Knicks. Better wing support we have.
Boogie, Jeff.
Oh yeah, better defense all the way around New York.
Yeah, I think New York's got a better defense.
Yes. Better closer. Who has the best?
We got the best closer in the world.
Yeah.
Best closer in the world. Like,
Yes.
Look, NBA Finals 45 on the Alien and Company. Like that's a wrap.
Yes. Better front office.
Oh, the Knicks.
Till that team proves it, the Knicks. I mean, that's the thing. The Sixers are potential, but right now, like, we're the team that has the championship pedigree. We're the team that has the championship ownership. We're the team that has the NBA Finals champion. Like, so,
that's right.
And
I don't know why these questions are making me angry, Steph. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Who's Kylan? Kylan's a rookie. We don't know what he's going to be. KCP is okay. Barlow, okay. Bona is not amazing. Simon's a good player. Dean Wade, we've been around the Dean Wade block more than a couple of times in his stints with Cleveland. So I'm not impressed with a lot of those guys. Like I think Simon's a good player.
Go ahead. Sorry, finish it.
I like the Knicks guy, but again, I'm a homer. I get to see the Knicks players on a regular basis, and I don't see a lot of those guys. So
and because of that, we know Alvarado can be up and down. Had a great series for us. Not a great shooter. He could be up and down. Deuce could be up and down. So,
but Clarkson is there too. Clarkson is good,
and Clarkson is there. Let's see if his second year in New York is better. Is better than.
Is Drummond really worse than Barlow and Bona? I don't think he's great, but I think he's at least a solid, decent backup five.
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying that there is a tendency to chip at the other person's bench when our bench also has some issues, some issues as well. That's all I'm saying. I still pick the Knicks bench, of course, but I'm just saying McBride didn't have a great postseason for us. Alvarado came in a few of those games. It was just lights out, particularly in the fourth quarter. Landry Shamet was huge for us in the Philly series, up and down in the in the Spurs series. But in terms of ceiling, though, I like the ceiling of our guy. You may not get that ceiling every single game, but I do like the ceiling of a Clarkson, the ceiling of a McBride, the ceiling of a Drummond.
I think I measured it out for myself real quickly is that they are all bench players, and bench players are kind of typically up and down as far as sometimes offensively effectiveness. But I think out of that list and then our list, I think our defensive acumen is higher than all of those guys across the board coming off of our bench. So that was my weight option. And I'm a defensive lover. So because I believe that those make changes and stops and points of different flow points in the game. So I gave our bench to just the shade pointed the thumbs up.
All right. Who has more pressure on them this season? Knicks, Philly.
Philly.
Philly's got the pressure on. We already got our ring. I mean, we want another one, but winning back to back is hard. Like I don't think that anybody's expectation these days is to repeat when the Celtics didn't do it, the Nuggets didn't do it, the Warriors didn't do it, the Bucks didn't do it. Like we've had what 7 years in a row without a repeat champion. So I don't know that there's a ton of pressure on that. I don't think anybody really thought we would do it the first time. Like the league is in denial that we even won one. Like I don't think that there's like. And the other thing is Jalen Brunson himself. So I don't feel pressure. Like that's just. Hey, so for him, it's not. So I don't know. I don't think it's a pressure situation with these guys. And like, what's more pressure than being 29 points down in game 4? And coming back to win. So when this team has dealt with the pressure, that doesn't mean they're going to win again, but I don't think that this, like, I don't think, pressure bursts pipes, but it doesn't burst Knicks.
Yeah. Come on, let's be honest. The league can't allow us to win a second time. You see how crazy they are right now? The league would blow their whole head off. Pow! It would just be right on screen. People's heads would be busting all over the place. They've lost their mind now. The shakeup in the league has gone crazy. It's like popcorn going all over the place. These people are losing it right now after we won. There's no way.
One thing about it, with us winning, everybody ate. Everybody came up. I don't care where you was at. What you came up, whether it was TV, radio, merchandise, stores. Everybody came up when we won that championship. Way more than a lot of other teams that won championship. This was a very big championship that was won, man. I mean, very big, man. I'm still happy every day when I wake up. I gotta have something on that's Knicks. I love acknowledging people, that when they got Knicks stuff on, I'll be like, yo, congratulations, champ. They be like, hey, congratulations too. I see you got it. Yeah, I see you got on. It's just so beautiful, man. And by the way, you know what I'm saying? Don't get it confused. I am a 3-time champion. I hope somebody else is here a 3-time champion, but I got one I got Google, and I got one as a little boy, and I made it to get one as an adult. So I am a 3-time champion. I hope I got some other brothers and sisters that are 3-time champion. If you was living during them championships, you got them. You got them. And when you start this season, it won't be no more that they ain't won in 53 years. You can tell them, we ain't won since last year. Don't let us win this year.
By all means, let us win this year. And the year after that, and the year after, I'm not even going to say it. Let us win. Let us win. I got no problems with y'all. I don't ever want to come down from this high, y'all. Let us win.
I'm going to retire. Give me one more, I'm retiring.
Let me ask this question. If you're Leon Rose in the front office, after watching Philly load up, so to speak, Jalen Brown, LeBron James, are they feeling pressure to make another move, or do you feel they're going to trust this roster and just roll it?
Ooh, that's good.
Nah, they're under pressure. They're under pressure, I think, to make a move. I think it's always pressure in New York, regardless. Doesn't matter. We're a different animal. Expectations
you think
are
that
always
pressure
different.
is around the margins or like a major move?
I think it's still I'm going to say the margins, because I don't think it's nothing that we overly need, but there are significance of what we need.
Okay.
I don't want to say what I was thinking and what I wanted 2 days ago, but you can best believe for a fact when that deadline comes, that chessboard is coming out. He do it every year. That chessboard is coming out. But I do feel like he's going to go and get what is best fitted, because we're not really necessary needing. But we can use another major fitting piece that can go amongst this team. And they're going to see what's going to happen. Thank God everybody made your moves. You should be good right now. Everybody, every other team, you don't made your moves. You should be good. Boston, you should be good. Toronto, you should be good. Shout out to the Wizards. Shout out to the Wizards. Y'all should be good. The Hawks should be good. Philly should be good. The only ones that ain't good is Orlando, Detroit. We ain't made no moves. We ain't made no moves. We just, celebrated. The thing with Drummond, that was already locked in, way before they announced it. They already had that piece locked in. And Drummond should be feeling extra good. For a championship team to want and grab you to put you on this team, you should feel extra motivated. You should feel, different far as, how you approach it. And you're seeing it. I think he's a little bit slimmer. You know what I'm saying? You can see him in the little videos, hot, upbeat. He feel like he got an opportunity. He know he got an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But that trade deadline, Leon is going to make another chess move. But I ain't going to say what I was thinking about 2 days ago. Lord have mercy. God almighty. Ooh.
So you don't think he feels pressure? You don't think anything will happen before the season starts? You think this is more a trade deadline? See where the Knicks at, how they do first part of the season, and then make a move if they feel.
That's right. Everything y'all done. Let me see how it lines up when we in action. I see how it lines up on paper. Let me see how it lines up when, when the 48 minutes is, inside that building. Whether we in your building or you in our building. Let me see how it acts. And Lord knows if your movement fails, this roster, then we're going to say we'll beat us. But if I feel like I need to make a move, because we even the board, but I still want to be in front of you, I'm going to make a move.
Okay. Geoff, thoughts? You feel Leon Rose? I don't know if pressure is the right word, but do you think Leon Rose is kind of looking not just at Philly, but just how the landscape of the entire Eastern Conference is changing, and maybe feeling like, I don't know, I might have to do a little something here.
I think it's important not to be reactionary to what one team does, right? I think we made that mistake, built our team to beat the Boston Celtics. We beat the Boston Celtics, and then we lost to the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, right? And so, I don't think you can just gear up to beat one team. I think that you always need to be looking to improve yourselves to be the best team. And I think that there are legitimate arguments that subtracting Mitchell Robinson and adding Andre Drummond makes us a little bit worse. So I think that's a legitimate possibility, but you also have to read the room, right? And what do we see in the room? We've got 13 players under contract. We hadn't done anything with our second round picks. We hadn't signed with the two-way deals yet. We hadn't signed a regular deal yet. We hadn't done anything with them, right? We're the only team in the NBA that only has 13 players. We're the only team in the NBA who doesn't have a player on a two-way contract right now. To me, that screams like something's going to happen. Maybe not something huge, but something's going to happen. There's going to be some kind of trade or transformation. And it's probably going to involve aggregation of a couple of our smaller salaries and whiz, cover your ears. It may involve the dealing of Deuce McBride. Not that they don't like Deuce, but I don't think they want to pay him a contract extension. And if you can aggregate his salary with Kolek or with Paycom and bring in a backup center and give yourself a little bit more versatility, I think that's something that could happen, because you've got guys, again, we've got Shamet, we've got Clarkson, and maybe they want Cahill to be on the roster. I don't know what they're thinking. I'm just saying that the potential is there, and the kind of it may mean nothing. They can still go into the season with just signing a Nick Richards, but if they wanted Nick Richards, I think he would already be on the roster. You know what I mean? It wouldn't take any. Right. They would phone call and because we can only offer him the minimum, the vet min anyway. But I think if you offered him the vet min, if that was a deal that was on the table, I think he would already be here. I think that the Knicks are just being patient. I don't know necessarily that the roster that we have right now is going to be the one that we open camp with. And I don't know who's available, Sherwin, but I'm not the GM. That's for Leon Rose to figure out. But you have a bigger pool of players to look at if you can trade for someone than if you're just looking to sign someone as a free agent, especially at this point in the season. And maybe you look at a team like Charlotte. I think they're the ones with Kalkbrenner. That's a name that's out there. There's some, maybe you look at one of the Mavericks backup centers. They have like 8 of them. So you don't know who's going to be available and what. So I'm not sure what the plan is. I don't know everybody's, but I don't get to make phone calls either. So I didn't think Karl Anthony Towns was available, and all of a sudden he was a Knick the next day. So yeah. So and again, we have 2 5s on our roster right now. That's going to change at some point. I don't think we're going into the start of the regular season with just Drummond and Towns under contract. So, whether that means just adding another guy or trading for a guy, I think that something's got to give, in my opinion. But I've been wrong before, and this could be another one of those times. I'm not shy about that. You give as many takes as we do, you're going to be wrong. But just to me, it just seems like that there's – and that – look, we're in the dog days. It's not even August 1st yet. That deal may not be coming until September, with the start of training camp. It may be the silence of the lambs until then. We have no idea. But, it's not really the time of year when you see a lot of moves. The only reason we're talking about LeBron now is that he waited for a long time to make his decision, and so we have that. So it probably will be closer to camp, but we only have 13 guys under contract. We need a 14th. We're either signing a vet min player or we're going to move some pieces around and create some space, maybe bring one of those rookies in on that rookie minimum deal, which is only $1.5 million, which is a nice contract to be able to have while maintaining our flexibility. Because remember, we're staying under that second apron, so we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I just want to weigh in on Drummond. We really can't discount, what Drummond can actually bring us. He solves one of our major problems, which we have had for years. We were hoping if he came in, Yabusele could hope that, the major problem, even with Cat, all of the centers that we've had for years, is Drummond actually brings us space. And just let me argue this point a little bit. Not that he shoots well from space, but he arguably gives us more space because he's a low post catcher. Cat isn't really a great low post catcher. He hasn't been. He's not a guy, that he's not great at stealing guys, just pushing them down into that paint. That's one thing that Drummond can do. Drummond can seal you well into that paint and make that catch. That catch arguably provides more space because when somebody catches the ball down in the paint, it immediately causes the defense to collapse. Whereas, we move the ball, but a lot of times those guys are still in that point of that perimeter. And when you got to crunch down and come closer to that basket, it's much harder to catch up. And I think that's one player that we finally have that is probably the better of the low post catchers that we've had in quite a long time.
He's terrible at finishing at the rim, though. In fact,
I was about to say he's a good catcher,
but he ain't gonna finish.
But here's the issue of it. That's all a lot of times you need people to do is you can catch that ball, point and low. It doesn't matter. The system and the people who are on defense, if you're a defender, you're going to collapse. You're going to step in. It's just a matter of now utilizing it and saying, hey, at times, Drummond, kick it back out because they're going to collapse on you. It's just the way it is. Especially if you can get the right position, because there's a lot of times where we would switch off on Towns with other things with other smaller players, and he wouldn't immediately drop them down, seal them, boom, barbecue chicken. That's one thing that we miss a lot. And you would even hear how Shaq with them would scream about with him, because that's not a thing that he just naturally does. It's just this immediately shift them down, reposition, post, boom, seal them. He doesn't exact time do that. Drummond will do that immediately to you. So That's what I mean as far as in spacing. When that ball is caught, boom, being able to kick it and move it back out. Otherwise, barbecue chicken.
I wonder though, because if you think about teams are heavily scouted, and I think teams will know that he's not a great finisher. And you wonder if that's on the scouting report, if they will, or will they just play him one-on-one, and just let him and see
Or
what he
foul
can
him.
do.
He's not a good
No. And always remember this too. That's in the last 2-3 years. Drummond was actually one of the best finishers in the game. When he was on his game, he was one of the best finishers in the game. That's because that's what he did. He sealed you, boom, and he dunked on you. That weight position and how, you know what I mean, as far as his shape being. So in the last 3-4 years, he hasn't been that same guy. But prior to that, go back and look at Drummond's record. That's what he did. He finished around the basket well.
I remember him, but his numbers statistically, he still wasn't a great finisher around the rim. The thing with him is he doesn't really have a lot of moves. The thing with him was just a lot of brute force. That's how he was able to.
Yeah, that's what we
that's
want.
how he. That's how he was.
That's
able
what
to
M5's looking for. It.
Yeah,
That's what I'm looking for.
I mean,
that right there. You hit it right on the head.
Let's see if that'll be his role on. Yeah, let's see how they.
Yeah, because that's what we wanted from Yabusele. But then Yabusele was like the rhino, right? What is it? Not the rhino, a rhinoceros with the little skirt thing on, tuliping around. We were looking at him like, wait, what are you doing? And you know what I mean? He wouldn't do anything on the inside. And when he did, he was real soft and timid about it. That's not what we needed from him. Well, that's what we need from Drummond. But hopefully he brings that in.
Yeah.
Yabusele told me to tell you, he said, acknowledge him by the name of Champ, yo.
He's getting half a ring. I'm giving you here's half a ring.
Hey,
That's
we don't get Alvarado if that not for Yabusele, and so you let him get his whole ring. He helped us out in the end. He waived his no trade clause and got up. He didn't have to get out of town. He could have just earned that. Well, gotten that paycheck without doing anything to earn it.
All right, a few rings, but a few diamonds short. A few diamonds short.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair, M5. I got you. I'm feeling you, bro.
No, I'm so glad he got a championship with us, but it was only one person that was guaranteed a championship when the finals started. Yep. And I'm so glad he got it with us, man, because that's the only guy that was guaranteed a ring. You know, no matter what happened, how you gonna get a ring?
Yep.
Bless that young man.
East Blue True gonna give him a bacon, egg, and cheese. Look at that. That's not a bad deal.
The other young kid, right? What was the other young kid from OKC that we got? He got two back to back.
Yeah, Dylan Jones, is that his name?
Yeah, right. That's his name, right? Jones. Yeah, he got back to back. He's a back to back champion, 2-time champion.
Back to back with the DNP. that's a good gig right there.
That's awesome.
All right,
I got more rings than Charles Barkley.
Let's get to the chat before we get out of here. Nick Yak says Drummond is not the same player he is describing. He might be, but let's just hope he's, slims down and he's re-energized from being on a championship team with a significant role backing up Cat. And it is a significant role because Cat, he's been relatively healthy. That really hasn't been a concern in the 2 years he's been here. But foul trouble is, so maybe he's rejuvenated. Maybe he can recapture some of it. I'm not sold on him being a low post scorer, but if he is, that would be great for us. Paris Duggar, I've never been afraid of any player over 40 after 82 games in a season. Philly doesn't have defenders except VJ. Okay. Right. East Blue Drew, remember, he's been on some bad teams. I believe he's referring to Drummond. It's just like when y'all were worried about Clarkson, a new home can change everything. All right. Nick Yak, Drummond averaged a half a point more than Mitch in the same 19 minutes. Okay. right?
Probably at the free throw line. One's a 60% shoot, the other 30. So that's probably where that half point comes from.
Right. That's exactly how Leon moves. He waits till the last minute. Okay. Sherwin, we are fewer than 4 million below the salary cap.
Still have
I
enough for
mean,
a vet minimum if we
yeah,
want it. So we're good.
How much are
yeah,
we?
4 million.
But we have enough to sign a vetman player if we want to. We have the flexibility to do that. We can wait if we want to also, but if they wanted to sign, because remember, a vet minimum contract may be for 3.5 or 3.8 million, but it only counts against the cap for like 2.9. And so we have enough space to sign a vetman player, any vetman player to our roster to close it out, to complete it. If that's how we choose to operate, there's still some things that we can do to get a little bit more space if we want to. I'm not saying that we will, but there is without a doubt enough space to add a vet minimum player tomorrow. And they don't have to make any moves to make that happen.
Yeah, as long as we do it before training camp, we just have to have signed 14 on before training camp. So that's late.
We'll sign 21 by training. We'll get those guys who aren't going to make the roster. Probably Dylan Jones being one of them. You know, we'll have the full complement of guys. This is kind of interesting that we actually have so few guys technically rostered. Like the least amount in the league right now is kind of interesting. So.
And you asked a quick question. Y'all just saying that we still 4 million under the cap. Does that money has any effect far as with the rookies? Have we signed the rookies? Done anything with them yet?
Nope. We're waiting because we can't. So we're pretty close to the. So couple things. First of all, two-way contracts don't count against the salary cap. Period. They don't. So you don't have to worry about this. If we sign those guys to two-way deals, we don't have to worry about that. If we sign a vetman player, we don't have enough to even sign either one of those guys to the second round rookie contract. Okay, we wouldn't have enough, which is about 1.5 million. That would put us over. It would, the most we could do with those two guys at that point would be a two-way deal, assuming we didn't move anybody or do anything else. Okay, so right now, if we sign a guy for the vetmen, that means that the rookies are either two-way deals or draft and stash deals that don't get a contract at all, which could be the deal with KL, but I don't think so. That's why I think that another move is coming, even if it's just to free up a little bit of space to bring those two guys on the rookie minimum. I think that's going to happen. But right now, as it stands right now, we could bring both of those guys in on rookie deals, I think, on the 1.5 rookie and still be there, or we can do the vet men, and I think they would be much more likely to do the vet men at this point than the other. But I could be wrong. We're pretty close, so we may not have enough room for both of the rookie men deals. I'll have to look at that again because I think we're closer to 3 million than we are to 4 million under that second apron. So it does get a little bit dicey and a little bit close at that point. So. I'm not overly sure about that, but I do know that we can sign a vetman player for sure. But if we sign the vetman, that we have to do two ways if we're going to sign both of our rookies, and that's my understanding of it at this point.
But you got. That's the second time you don't hit me with the. I could be wrong. I ain't gonna let you get away with that because I know you got 84% percentage of could be rights going on throughout your history. So the first one I let you get away with that. The second one I ain't gonna let you tell the people this man got an 84% percentage when he by his rights, y'all.
Facts.
Well
Facts.
said.
Keith Turner, I just think Jose made Deuce expendable. You think Jose made Deuce expendable? I think them re-signing Shamet, kind of, to me, was a signal that they might not be.
Don't you think that bringing the trio of Clarkson, Shamet, and Alvarado back is kind of what Like, no, I'm not trying to be,
Yeah.
but don't you think like if you just bring back one or two of them, I can kind of see, okay, you have a definite slot to that he plugs into, but with those three guys, I mean, Clarkson a lot of times with an afterthought, so if you have those three guys already in place, and coach loves them some Landry Shamet. I really feel like Shamet is a Brown guy for sure. And so, and Alvarado got some confidence as it went along too, and Kolek is out there somewhere, and there are people who want to see him play. I don't know if it's our coaching staff or not, but there's only so many guard minutes to go around. And so, and there's the contract extension thing. If you have those other guys in place, do you what, if anything, do you want to be paying Deuce, and do you want to lose him for nothing like we did Robinson? And I think the answer to that is no. I think that's a misuse of assets. So I think all of those things are going to combine into something. I don't know what, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it's just math and timing that would make Deuce expendable. Simple as that. It has nothing to do mostly with anything else. It's just math and timing. Not too many people just going to give up on a point of a guy at times is still a 43% three-point shooter at points of his career. So it's just timing and the CBA and math. It really, it's not anything else as far as they could have signed all three of those guys, I think, as well. But I just think it's simple math. We don't have the money for what he's going to want for his next contract. And for me as a Deuce fan, I do want him to also, well, he's won us a championship. I want him to get paid. So, you know what I mean? I wish him the best as far as hopefully moving on and getting a better contract. But I also know, as, we're Knick fans, just as Geoff said, we can't lose him for nothing. So I prefer to, help him aggregate him to some point of a place maybe that he wants to be and some point of a good trade, which they've had a history of doing so far sometime with moving guys. So,
but do you guys think it's just money? Do you think if they wanted to bring Deuce back, they could have brought Deuce back? Like, they didn't have to re-sign Shamet and Alvarado.
But then they still would have had to pay, sheer numbers wise, you need players also, and then for what you're going to what Deuce is going to be asking for. So if Deuce is asking for 8 to 10, let's say $1 million a year, right? Arguably, which is not an overpay for him for what he's done, for what, as far as for what kind of 3-and-D guy that he kind of is. So with that being said, and with his experience, I don't think he's, I don't think it's a reach for what would be asking for, but we just can't afford it. We can't afford it for what we, for what other players that we could say get on these veteran minimum deals. In a sense, he's going to want more than that. This is at a time in his career where I think arguably if he can get it out there and his agent can find him and, more power to him. And they have to.
I think, I think I may be undervaluing Deuce and Shamet.
I think if Deuce walked back in and said, hey, if you guys can extend me, let's say 3 years, $10 million, I think that they would do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, of course they would. Yeah, of course they would. But at 10, I don't.
Just look at what the Knicks have done. Look at what they did with Quickly. Look what they did with Grimes. Look what they did with even Randall. Right? Look at what they've done. The only real exception was Mitch, and we ended up losing Robinson for nothing at the end of the day. And that was more, financial decision than it was a basketball decision, in my opinion. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but so if you go by what they've done, they tend to, when players get to that point, if they don't want to extend them, they're going to trade them. And so, I think that with the finances coming up in the future, as we talked about on the previous shows, and the contract extensions of guys like Brunson and OG and before that Cat and possibly Josh Hart, who I don't think is going to make massive money, but his contract is still going to be there as well. And you've got Bridges, who's on the longest contract of anybody left. You've got a lot of money tied up in players, and I don't think that I don't think James Dolan is just going to change his mind next year about the apron because teams aren't doing that. Like even the Oklahoma City Thunder traded away 3 rotation players this offseason because they didn't want to be in double apron territory. So it's a real thing that organizations are avoiding like the plague, whether you want to recognize it or not. I know everybody on this panel recognizes, but I'm saying that it's something that teams are just not doing. It's the penalties are too punitive, and that's going to be the case for a while because the new CBA isn't supposed to be negotiated for a while. And I kind of think the teams, that in a lot of ways, some of the teams like the way that it's set up. Not the Knicks, obviously, but the smaller market teams, I think, like the way that it's set up.
And shout out to Silk Sutton. Appreciate you rocking with us. Appreciate the $4.99 super chat. Kahil, did I get that right?
Cahill
can't be brought out and be put on a 2-way. He's going back unless Germany waves.
Well, that's fine. Okay. We don't need him this season anyway. He would be, unless we move Kolek, he'd be a 4th string point guard on this team. So, I mean, let him stay in Germany and get reps is fine. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know.
Nick Yak says Shaman's last 2 seasons are not guaranteed. I bet Alvarado has a player or team option in his contract. Okay. Right. Greg, all I know is double nickel. Better be on the squad when the season starts. Okay. Aura, Mel's, I hope I got that right. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. Bridges didn't really play good in the finals. If we would have lost, we would be speaking differently about him. I thought Bridges played. I mean, it depends on what you
scoring in the closeout game.
I don't know. I guess it depends on what you mean by didn't play well. Like, you know, well, he didn't play well offensively. He didn't hit his shots. He didn't.
Defensively, he was on point for the whole playoffs, the whole thing, the whole run. He may not have been so games where he disappeared offensively, but defensively, he wasn't. And, you know, I'm critical of Mikal, but I will give him that point is that he still remained in that system and he still stayed on. He played championship level defense from playoffs, from almost all the games, almost all through the whole playoffs. His greater percentage of all those games, he defensively was on point. Offensively, he had his nights, but you know what I mean? And it was nights, like I say, that he was just, you know, altogether missing at certain times where, you know what I mean, where I think a little bit, he should have took a little bit more offensive responsibility and applied more pressure as far as a guy in the second unit or when Brunson was out or even at times where they doubled on Brunson. I thought that, yeah, he offensively, you know what I mean, there were a few times I thought that he should have applied more pressure. But as far as defensively, I have to give him where his thing was due. And there were critical points in time where he carried us as well. So it's an overall, you know what I mean, thing. It's not game per game, you know, because you can say, okay, he didn't play well in the finals. Well, did he help us get there? Because if you don't get to the dance, you don't make it, period. So you got to look at it in totality. And totality is for the playoff run, for the majority, he helped us get that championship, and that'll never be forgotten.
Who he was part of and how he took them out the game. Nickeil Alexander-Walker out the game. Maxey out the series. You know, we could go down the line. Those guys were just not as effective as they usually were, and I believe that was specifically because Mikal Bridges was playing. Joseph, appreciate you being here. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. Brown loves Deuce too. Brown always puts Deuce when he doesn't know who else to go to. Okay. All right. East Bonjour, they really forgot what Deuce was giving us. Okay. All right. Andrew K, appreciate you. Been a minute, Andrew K. Love Shaman. Okay. All right. All right.
It's just unfortunate. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Queen.
I was just gonna, I was just gonna read that switch. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's just unfortunate that Deuce has one of them contracts that's gonna help this roster. You can't be
You
attached to
mean
these players. When that trade deadline comes, you're gonna see that Wrangler Jeep pull up in the neighborhood. Remember that Wrangler Jeep in New Jack City? And G Money, Keisha, and Gunner Man was on there. They're gonna tell him, "Hey, yo, Schmitty, I'm here to tell you your service in the community is no longer needed." That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen for real, because it just his contract. It fits that. You
Mm.
know, it just fits that moment for us. If Leon has to make a move and he has to use something on this roster, what's more better than an expiring contract with a young guy that can come off the bench and can make shots and can play defense? You know, so and that fits him. You know, you, you can find it's it's harder. It's easier to find guys like Deuce because you found guys like Shamit and Alvarado than it is for him not to find somebody like him with his money's worth. You know, I can find me another player that's close to them guys. And it's not really the shot making, throughout. It has something to do with a lot of shots, but your shooting percentage has nothing to do with the moment of the shots that you can make shots.
facts?
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? So them guys, Shamit, Alvarado, they proved to make big time moments when they was really needed. Fourth quarter that he played along with Brunson and didn't come out,
One
that
for the
goes a
ages.
long way. Yo, I can handle the rock. Move over there. I got you. And the show step up and show on the road. Not at home. Not where you was born. On the road. You know, it's and then he took a little pay cut. So it just shows how beautiful it is for our organization that want people really to people want to be here. Our culture is good. Culture, not coach. Our culture is real good. And it's beautiful to see that people are willing to do certain things just so they can continue on being I'm good, I'm set in stone, I'm here, I'm home. Shamit did that. Shamit could have went and got a little bit more money. Rado could have went somewhere and got a little money. But Deuce, be honest with you, doesn't deserve, Deuce deserves to try to get much as he can. Much as he can, because he might not get another shot to get much as he can. And coming off a championship team, and I wish the best for him, be honest with you. Pounds, I need him to act right too. Everybody need to act right. Everybody need to act right. Because this guy took a pay cut for everybody to be here. And I believe he's not going to take all the way to full complete max. He's going to take something close to it. Well deserving of that guy. Russian. Well deserving for him. For him to get everything he deserved, man.
East Blue Drew, y'all need to relax. Deuce was hurt. Let him come back this season unless we find someone good to trade for. Listen, Deuce and Shaman, in my opinion, play similar roles as spacers. I'm not saying they're the same exact player, but they're similar roles for our team, right? Play really good defense and play off of the other guys and hit your open shots. So I don't think you need to. I don't think you need two of those. I don't think you need Shamit and Deuce and Alvarado. And can we get a small forward in here? With a little size? Can we
No. You can't get anybody over 6'5", Queen. Did you not get that memo from this team? 6'5" and over is no. Actually, Nickel is 6'7", so I guess that's not true.
Right. I mean, listen, we can win with undersized guards and wings. We did it. Right? We did it. But I'm just saying, preferably, I would like
Give them a little growth formula. It wouldn't hurt our feelings, would it?
Yeah.
Remember the movie Scarface? Everybody remember that. Shaman is like Tony. And the reason I'm gonna say this, you remember when dude said, I think he's a peasant. And you remember what he said after that? Yeah, but it's guys like that. When you get him on your team, you break your back for him. That's Shaman. He break his back for us. A lot of times when he got injured, got hurt, oh man, he's down. It's over with. Shaman come back. And look how he fight on defense. I think Shaman really is the best fighting through the screen guy that was on our team. Because you set a screen up high for him, somehow, some way he was wiggling through that and still staying with his man. He had to deliver a significant blow to him to get him off on that pick. That guy fought major screens, man, and that's why I said a guy like that, he break his back for you, man. He go all out for you, man. And that's not to say Deuce don't do that. But for that number and for that bag, I gotta go with what's gonna benefit the team more than anything. Not the player's name. Yeah, just that, yeah, not the player's name, just that number.
And I do wonder how much they prioritize guys that showed up in big moments. And Deuce hit some big shots for us in the playoffs as well. But
Yeah,
Shaman in that
quarterback
Philly
shot.
series,
Shaman till the finals was like hit like 11 out of 12 at one point, or
Oh my
like he was on a bender. Shaman.
flamethrower.
Yeah.
He was an NBA Jam character for those those who remember.
Yeah,
He's on fire.
He's on fire.
Yeah, he was on the
And
heater.
and I think Alvarado, say what you want to say about his shooting percentage. This guy is a gamer. In that game, was that 4, right? Game 4.
Yeah,
We were making that
4.
comeback. He like that. Whenever I see clips of that and his performance, it just sends chills up my spine. Like somebody like that the coach just looks and says, you know what? Come on in. And then you do a performance like that. That's why I believe that's why he's back. We could talk about ball handling. We could talk about somebody playing behind Brunt. Like we could talk about all of that. That showing when you're trying to win championships, it's not even what you do is important, but when you do it is so important. Like finding guys when a moment is not too big for them matters.
a lot.
And Jose Alvarado showed the moment is not too big. Like this guy has some cojones, man.
Yeah.
And to do what he did, no hesitation. Took Wemby to the hole, laid it up. Brunson was double teamed, gave the ball at no hesitation. He pulled up for the 3. He wasn't thinking about, I'm not a good 3-point shooter. This is a really tight game. I don't want to make no mistake. Brunson passed that ball to him on a 3-point line. He pulled right up and in.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the type of guys you need on the team. You could talk about height. You could talk about all of those things. You need guys where the moment is not too big. And he showed himself in that game.
I think arguably Alvarado was more of the Davey point where, or like Kaiser Sose, because he literally flipped him. Let's not forget that. He went to Wemby, tackled him, threw him on the floor.
Right.
You know what I mean? Cursed him a bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my man said, he'll flip you. He'll flip you. He'll actually flip them.
Yeah.
And that to me was a huge moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like Wemby, I'm the smallest guy on the court, but you know what I mean? You might be the tallest, but I'm here for it and I'll take you down. And he literally took him down and looked at him like, what? Do you want some more of this?
Right.
Something that Alvarado will always have my respect for that moment alone in his career, no matter what else he does. He'll always
And
have
he may not do anything else, by the way.
exactly. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Long as that. Let me tell you something. Those were the proudest moments. Was when he flipped him and when Mitch chin checked him. Those are the most two proudest moments during this series of my.
Wow. Okay. All
Listen.
right. My big respect to him. He can come back 2 inches shorter. He still be my guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right. Paris Duggar. Drummond is a superior free throw shooter. Never mind the percentage. Drummond is better around the basket. He sets killer screens and rebounds. All right. I mean, let's see. I do think we're going to get the best of him.
I do too.
Elite. And I like offensive rebounds because I like getting second opportunities at the basket. But number one is securing the possession and ending the opponents.
And he's not a bad offensive rebounder either. He's just
he's a good offensive rebounder too, but he's much better. All right, somebody got a bone with you, Geoff. Geoff, tell us about a game we lost because of missed free throw. Listen, I mean, we didn't lose because of a missed free throw because he wasn't in the game. Like we couldn't put him in a game in those in those situations.
Well, let's see. We lost 2 games to the Hawks in the first round by a point each. So there's 2.
I told you about the 84%.
I mean, I don't know how many games you want, but there's 2 of them that come to mind right off the bat. He missed free throws in each one, and we lost each one by a point. So, like, every point matters sometimes. I'm not saying always matters, but you wanted me to name a game. I gave you 2.
Listen, don't stop it because there's been some games where, as far as free throws, as a team, we've shot poorly, period, across the board. So anybody. So, you know what I mean? It's a difficult stat because there's.
And the other thing is that it made him unplayable. We had to take him off the floor. His minutes in the finals and in the playoffs shrunk dramatically because once you're in the penalty, you got to take him off the floor pretty much. I mean, I wish it wasn't so, but I mean that you can say that it doesn't matter, but everything in a game matters. The plays in the first quarter matter just as much as the plays in the fourth quarter. Remember the plays in the fourth quarter, but you don't make the plays in the first, then you may not be in that position to close the game in the fourth. So I think that it does matter. The whole game is what counts. It's not just the fourth quarter. Even though the Knicks did try to just show up in the fourth quarter several times and pulled it off, the whole game does matter.
You know what?
Hey, Queen, I'm getting ready to jump off.
I appreciate you.
I got 3%, and I don't want it to blank out before. But
I appreciate you, my brother.
God bless everybody. Everybody stay healthy.
Right.
Continue enjoying your summer break, your champions. Everybody make sure if you haven't hit that like button, you know what I'm saying, before she ends the show, make sure you hit that like button so this channel can continue on moving in the direction it's supposed to be.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks, Jake Boogie, for coming on, man. Check in some more with us, brother.
Yeah, definitely. Keep that link. I was happy that I said, he saved the link. You know
I think
what?
he might have just phased out.
Yeah. I wonder if Mike Brown valued Mitchell Robinson. I'm not saying this is not like that he didn't like him or, nothing personal. I just wonder if he valued him in his system. Or if he felt like, because there was times when Mitchell Robinson in the regular season could have played more minutes. And Mike Brown chose not to. I'm not sure every time he played 17 minutes was because of a medical limitation or the medical staff said he can't play more than this, right? I just think Mike Brown, Mike Brown didn't like to use him. I don't think I think he felt like we're okay with him, but we'll be okay without him as well. I don't think he liked the way the offense flowed when he was when he was in the game. And I think that was also a reason why he wasn't re-signed. I don't think Mike Brown went in there banging the tables for Mitchell.
And Drummond has a little bit of a
Richardson.
3-point shot also, by the way. He's not great from out there, but he makes enough of them where you can't just leave him open from out there. That's Andre shot about 34% from 3 last year. And for a 5 to do that, you have to go out there and at least put somebody on him. So that helps too.
Yeah. Do you think we overrating the 3-point shooting though? Like he takes like 1 a game or something like that?
Yeah, it's definitely not a high volume. It's a very low volume as far as him putting up shots. And that's not a position we really want to put him in anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if he gives us 1, great. Well, who knows? Mike Brown might encourage him to take more so that we can play the same way when he's on the floor as on Castle. So, I mean, yeah, we shall see. Excuse me. Greg says, I don't think Brown liked the fact that after all these years that Mitch has been in the league, he never worked on his free throws like he should. And the fact that he had to take him out of games so far. I mean, I think that might have been part. Well, it was part of it, because he did take him out, strategically when it came to free throws, and then maybe also the fact that he wasn't always available. Right? It was every other game. This restriction, that restriction, that could have had something to do with it, as well. Harris Duggar, appreciate the $2 super chat. It's amazing to only have a backup. It's amazing to only have a backup 5 as an issue. Oh, that's the issue on the team. Okay, I got you. Okay. All right, he's still Drew on this team. He'll have more opportunities. Joe said Mike Brown needs to play Kolek more next season, to be honest. Listen, N5 is right there with you on that.
Yeah.
I don't know
think
that
it
we're
may
gonna see
happen
that
either
happen.
way. Now, I think it may happen because if you're looking to, let's say if you are looking to make a trade and, you know what I mean, teams like players that they see and are developed a bit more. So just someone like how we've been dangling, what's the other kid? We've been dangling him for a minute. That's the reason why he's gotten minutes. Like even in the summer league here, they played him probably the most minutes because they're dangling him in a sense. So I think we will see Kolek a little bit more. And I think we need to. I'm telling you, when you win a championship, it's a heavy load as far as going depth into the season. When you come back in the next season, it has not been too great for champions come the following year as far as health and how your body can wear down. So I'm hoping that, to take a little bit more pressure off of Brunson through the point of the season and get him there again, with even lower minutes this year, but just get us there healthy and, having a better understanding of the offense. So we just need to get there. Everybody knows how dangerous we could be once we get there now.
Silk Sutton, to replace iHeart, it cost us Randall and DiVincenzo. To replace a younger Mitch, it's going to cost us Deuce or Kolek. Okay.
It's simple math a lot of times, people. You know what I mean? We got to pay Brunson again I think it's after this year, right? He's extension eligible again.
He's
right?
extension eligible, yeah.
We're going to have to pay this guy. You know what I mean? Cat's what's name here is here. We got to pay people. It's just the way that the math goes. So, we can talk about all the other variables, but those numbers are still there, and these guys got to get paid. Either pay it or move them.
And I do think eventually that starting 5 gets broken up. I think that you choose 3 of those 5 who are going to be your core, and then you almost have to, just because of the salaries, get it broken up for younger players. I'm not saying I want that to happen or how. I just feel like that if you're staying under the second apron, which you kind of need to, that's just a reality. Whether we like it or not, you got to find a way to cut costs somewhere, and you can't pay everybody. That's just the unfortunate nature of it, but you can.
The old mafia saying, it ain't personal, my friend. It's business. It's business.
Magellan, we can't afford to lose homegrown talent like McBride, but this second apron is amazing. Does it matter, Magellan, if it's homegrown or not? We can't afford to lose talent. Based because of the second apron. Does it matter to you, I should say, or even on the panel, if it's homegrown or not?
I don't care. I want to win. I don't care where they're. You could be getting players from the planet Mars. I don't care if they're winning us a championship like we just had. I'm good with it. And Parrish, DiVincenzo got traded, so I don't know that that's true. It's a Villanova guys that got to go. They go. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. DiVincenzo got traded so we could bring in Towns. If you think that the right deal comes along and they gotta move Bridges or Hart to do it, they'll do it in a heartbeat. Whether and Brunson will understand it because he's done it before. Like, he understands it's a business.
Yeah.
Greg,
Deuce lack of performance.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it will. Deuce's lack of performance in the playoffs in general is why he might be on the move and why the team is so reluctant to play him. And Joseph says all the people that be talking about Deuce is insane. Deuce gets hate everywhere. Okay, Nick Yak, when McBride is on the court, the Knicks are outscoring opponents. Yeah, all right. The chat has spoken. We do our best to get the chat involved and to hear what you have to say. Coach, trade Deuce. Okay. Aura, Mel's, backs. Okay. All right. Alvarado is a fighter. Alvarado was good for hustle and grit, defense, good rotational play, and someone who brings culture and can be a hometown fan favorite. Okay. I don't see performance in it, but okay. Brooklyn, 1982. Appreciate you rocking with us. Drummond will show up. I think he's going to have a throwback season.
Hope you're right.
Yeah, and I think he's going to probably average. Well, the thing is, you think Brown didn't want to play Mitch and Towns together. I did not see him playing Towns and Drummond together. Yeah. So I think he'll be playing behind Towns. So that's 12 to 15 minutes a game, unless Towns is in foul trouble.
So 15 to 18 minutes a game, because Towns is always in foul trouble. Love Cat. I'm sorry, David Smith, cover your ears. I love Cat, but that boy, and it's not always his fault. He gets the worst whistle in the NBA, in my opinion. And I will go to the mat for him about that every time. But boys stay in foul trouble like Anthony Davis stay in the hospital, man.
That's one of probably the biggest question for me for the whole NBA season. Will the Knicks finally get the respect on the whistle as champions this year?
Not a chance.
Will Brunson get the point of respect as being an MVP champion?
Nope.
Will we finally ever get it?
Yeah. Appreciate you. And listen, stop by. We have these conversations every Thursday. We have more shows during the season, and we do our best to get the chat involved. So it's not just you guys listening to us all the time. We try to incorporate you guys as much as we can, answer your questions. Okay. I was just about to say the same thing. Oh, you guys are awesome. Nick Yak said, how many times do we need to stop and take Cat out for a backup center who always gets that stop? Paris Douglas said, Nick Yak, Mitch is going. Get over. Yeah, Mitch is going. And either the Knicks tried to trade him and weren't able to, or they felt like they didn't want to break up the team chemistry. So if they lost him in the off season for nothing, So be it, having him there in terms of team chemistry was super important, even if it meant losing him for nothing, maybe rolling the dice that he might come back on a really cheap contract, but they had to know that cheap meant really cheap. So they knew it was a good chance that they was losing Mitch. And some of it
One
was
of the
second
greatest
apron,
gambles
but I
ever.
also yes. I think some of it was second apron. I think some of it was medical, and I think some of it was how Mike Brown used him or didn't use him. Josh, formerly known as Uncle Fulio, appreciate you stopping by. Sixers looking at a Drew Holiday edition. That would be a big move for them. They already have 4 primary ball handlers. Yeah.
Has he been bought out by Portland, Josh? Do you know? Is that official, or is that just still like, as far as I understood, and I looked it up before the show, but I don't always have the right sources, that I thought that Holiday was still under contract in Portland, but have they reached a buyout agreement since like yesterday? Like, it's possible. I thought I saw something from Shams, but then when I went back to my Twitter, I didn't see it. So is it official that he's out of Portland? Because if he is, I think that the Knicks are the team that needs to be inquiring about Drew. He could still defend on the perimeter and do some things. Like, I wouldn't mind Drew Holiday addition to this for the final Vetman roster spot for sure.
Yeah. For sure. I guess we'll close it out. If Philadelphia is healthy in May, are they the Knicks' biggest obstacle?
In the Eastern Conference, yes.
In the Eastern Conference.
Yes.
I think they would be the most complete team, especially with veteran savvy and things like that. From what I can see in the league right now, automatically.
Yeah. Let us know in the chat if Philadelphia is healthy in May. Are they will they beat the Knicks? Are they the biggest Knicks obstacle to getting out of the Eastern Conference? East Blue Drew says nope. And who do you think is? I think on paper it's Philly. I'm not saying it'll actually happen, but I think on paper it is Philly. And we talked about chemistry issues, health issues, defense. A lot of things have to go right. Yeah, we do realize how good chemistry, how important chemistry is. All right. Any last words?
Just thank you, Queen, for sorry, and appreciate everyone. We got off to a little bit of a late start tonight, but I think we gave the people what they asked for. So thank you so much for hanging in there with us and being patient. We appreciate everyone. Chat, you guys were awesome. N5, I know you're a little bit under the weather, so prayers for speedy recovery for you. And Jerrell, we missed you tonight, brother. And I don't know what happened to Ajay. Somebody check his phone. I don't know.
He said I think he was away. He said he just got in. He said he just landed. The flight was delayed, so he just got in.
Well, we missed you too, brother, and we'll see you next week. And Queen, once again, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to visit on this incredible championship roster that we have.
Yep. Definitely another great show. I definitely appreciate, the back and forth chat with everybody. Please tell your friends out there, like, subscribe, come join us, hang out, have fun, ask questions. This is an open field. So, come along, hang out with us. This is all good Knick family talk. So these are actually excellent and great problems to have. And always remember, we're champions and Knicks in 5.
That's a fact. In 5, Geoff, Ajay and Jerrell, who wasn't here. I appreciate you guys holding me down every week. There's no channel without the panel, and that's a fact. I can't tell you how many times I'm limping into it. I'm like, I don't know if I got it tonight. And I get here and I sit with you guys, and we start talking Knicks, and I'm energized, and then I can't even fall asleep after the show. So I appreciate what you guys bring to the channel. Chat, fire today. We had some new listeners, new people in the chat today. So welcome. Definitely come back. We're here every Thursday for the weekly show, and during the season you'll see us even more replay game. We appreciate you, silent listeners. You already know. And Harris Duggar supporting the channel. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Hart and Bridges completely live to cover JB on defense, as well as on the offensive end when he needs to reset a offensive possession. They stay. We'll see. I mean, we've had these same arguments when it came to Randall. I don't know why y'all talking about this. Randall is going to be here forever. They're not going to move Randall. They're not going to poof. Randall's gone. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, Tyrese Duggar. He's friends with Bridges. I don't know if Hart lives to cover JB on defense. Like, Hart has been inconsistent on defense over the years, to say the least. But I mean, I get what you're saying. I just think that, let's just put it this way. The front office is aware of the connection. The front office respects the connection. I don't think the front office is going to hold the team hostage due to that connection. If something comes up that can really help this team and really extend their championship window, and if they do, they would not be acting in the best interest of the Bills. I don't think Brunson wanted Tom Thibodeau to go. I don't think it was in his hands. I don't think that was a decision that he had much of a say in making, right? So they respect him. They want to make sure he's comfortable, but they're going to do what's best for the organization. Would you guys agree, or do you guys think that whatever it's just about pleasing Brunson? I don't think this is a LeBron James situation here.
But he wants to win. I mean, he loved to win with his teammates, but he was not teammates with those guys before in his NBA career. Like, it's not like, I mean, he is now, but I mean, the team has to, like, if the team falls short this year and they have to make decisions, like, they have to make decisions. Like, he's friends with guys all over the league. He's friends with Tyrese Halliburton, which is blasphemous as far as I'm concerned. But that's just, this isn't the players hate each other world anymore. Like, they have connections. They like each other. They can hang out apart from being teammates if they can. And so, like, I think that it made it extra special that they won this one together, but I don't think that means that they're married to this lineup for life. I would hope not. I think that's bad general managing on the part of Leon Rose. If that's the underlying factor behind basketball decisions, then that's just bad process, in my opinion.
I mean, it's difficult. We can't forget that's his godson. Is there some form of human source point of yourself where you do a little bit more coveting of a person? Of course, those guys have an active show together, So, and at certain points, they've even Paris's question or his statement there. I think both of you guys were somewhat saying the same thing, but on different sides, because sometimes Hart is inconsistent on defense. Why? Because he's hedging a little too much sometimes toward Brunson's man at times. So, there's a human element of it. There's the business element of it, when one takes or another. But right now, Brunson is king. So I think that they will do certain things to possibly, within some limitation. And I think that's a natural thing that you do automatically, even for your leaders in general. And I think that that's been done for years. I think it'll be, continue to happen. I think the top guy, has a point of influence. I think that comes with it. I think it comes with great leadership. How much and how a team adheres to it or endures to it, that's different for everybody, Right. So for Brunson, I think it remains to be seen. But right now, the formula has rendered a championship. How we grow from there, I think, is the big question. And if we can maybe do something a little maybe outside the box, or something that fits this new box, because this everybody is trying to learn how to navigate this new CBA period across the whole league. So until that actually happens in 29, 30, when the thing changes, I'm here for the ride.
But so if that's true, if they're beholding to that, then that means that either Anunoby or Towns' future is very much in doubt with the organization. Is that, because
No,
we've already
I don't say that that's in doubt, but I just say that as far as Brunson is concerned, I think that
can't pay
you just
everybody. You have to,
no,
You have to
you're
make
right.
some choices.
you're going to have to
Yeah,
make
you're
some
right.
sort of decision with those top 5 guys. And if you're
You're right.
keeping the Nova boys together, that odd man out is Anunoby and Towns. I mean, that's just the way that it is. I mean, and
I
Towns is up for an
100
extension.
I 100% agree with you, but I think that regardless of certain things, is that if you can maneuver, and there's a Muslim in there that you're going to adhere point to who you believe is your captain, who is the point of the leader of your team, who after significantly changed what the narrative of what this team was. I think that there's some point of loyalty that adheres to almost every relationship, and there are nuances in there. And I believe in these nuances. Certain, gifts and rewards come with that. I just think that's just the way that life is and business is.
It is, but not to a fault. I agree with you, not to a fault. I think it would take a lot for them to move a Bridges or a Hart, but I don't believe it just won't ever happen, and the Knicks are just going to go down and just go back to the lottery before they'll trade a Mikal Bridges or a Hart. I don't believe that, but I agree with you that it wouldn't be a flippant decision. Like it would have to take something significant for them to do that. And I think the other part of it is that, listen, Brunson got the reward already as far as being able to play with his friends and win a championship with it. It's done. So we got to just stay with them no matter what, so you can win 2 or 3 and you can finish out your career with them. I think that's a bit too much. You got it already. You played with them. You won a championship with them. You can sit there and you guys could talk about that to the end of time, winning in Villanova, winning it. And so, but now we got to still stay together. Like,
Well, and getting a chance to run it back, right? Because it looks like
Mhm.
they're going to have a chance to at least defend their title once, right?
Mhm.
I don't. I would be stunned. I think everybody would be stunned if anything happened to the starting 5 before the season, right? So, but again, that we know that they're under the apron for this season. It's when extensions start to kick in, and we still have to figure out August 10th, which is in like 11 days. Josh Hart becomes extension eligible. What does that new contract look like? Mikal's on the books longer than anybody on the team right now, including Brunson and OG. So from that standpoint, he's here, but he's also, based on what he's making, a pretty movable contract if we wanted to. And if you want to stay below the apron, you can probably trade him for some smaller salaries and make that happen, kind of like Boston had to do to reshape their roster, kind of like what we saw with Oklahoma City to reshape their roster. And so, we'll see what happens. But even Hart taking less, it's going to be hard to keep underneath the second apron, just because if Towns is making 60 million and Brunson's making 60 million, that's 120 million right there. And OG's making what, 50, and so that's 170. Well, you still got 12 roster spots to fill. And oh, by the way, I think that Mikal's taking up another 30 of that. So that gets you to 200. That means to fill out the other 10 roster spots, you've got you've got like $20 million.
Yeah, and it's not even about taking less. It's about taking a LeBron contract, if you want to say. This is not about taking a little less or taking a little haircut. This is about If you're gonna basically, we're gonna keep this roster together and sign everybody to an extension and have a very thin bench and just decide that we're not gonna compete for a championship. you know, basically because the bench is gonna include, veteran guys and rookies. So when people say we want to keep this team together at all cost, even at the expense of not winning the championship, those are the things that we have to think about. This CBA is making things really, really tough. And if you have all of your money tied up in your starting unit, we're gonna go back to tip days. They're gonna have to play 40 minutes a game. These are the things that have to be considered. I'm with Wolverine 1986. Brunson, Cat, and OG, to me, is the core that I would like to keep together as long as we can. And if that means we have to move the other guys, and to stay championship contenders, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, man, it all depends on my fandom of the week, so. You play bad for 2 weeks? Listen here, I'm thinking about moving this guy.
He's like, call me the Mayflower man. I'm driving the truck for him.
You got to go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out, not just this season, but over the next few seasons. And then we'll get a chance to talk about it together. That's what makes this dope. All right. We out of here. Cat, we play games, silent listeners.
Oh my God, it's
Jeff,
11:46.
I
want to be paid overtime.
We'll double your salary in 5.
Oh, thanks. I feel better.
All right.
In fact, you've been so good tonight, I'm going to triple your salary. What do you think about
this
that?
guy's awesome. Jeff is the best ever. Thank you, Jeff.
Right. Until next time, fam. Peace.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where